Hey yo, what's good? It's your boy Shiitake Mushrooms 227 back with another tier list video. Today I'll be showing my tier list for kids action movies from the 2000s. Alright, first up, we got the groundbreaking 2001 film Spy Kids, directed by Robert Rodriguez, the man who would later go on to direct the equally as family-friendly film Sin City. I don't think anyone would disagree with me when I say that this masterpiece is A-tier material. Next up, another film that needs no introduction, The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lavagirl in 3D. That's the full title. I'm putting this one down in D tier because really the only thing it has going for it is the fact when you start the movie in 2D, and then when the crew blasts off the planet Drool, the movie enters into the third dimension, which is pretty crazy for its time. Next, we got Agent Cody Banks, which basically tells the story of what if Malcolm from Malcolm in the Middle was a junior secret agent. If I recall correctly, this was a solid movie, although, of course, not nearly as good as the film that undoubtedly inspired it. So I'm putting this one in B tier. Next, Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. Another 2001 film, this masterpiece, along with Spy Kids, shaped the entire genre of kids action movies for the decade. And it debuted one of the most terrifying monster villains to ever hit the big screen, Poltra. This is obviously S-tier material. On the note of young geniuses, next up is Baby Geniuses. Now, based on the cover, this does not look like an action movie, but if you've ever seen it, you know these babies can kick some butt. Baby Geniuses is possibly best known for preluding its sequel, Superbabies Baby Geniuses 2, which is known for being one of the worst films of the decade and possibly of all time. I went into this movie as a lad already expecting it to be pretty bad, but if I remember correctly, it has some redeemable qualities as well as some impressive baby kung fu. Next up, Catch That Kid. This is a movie that on the cover says, as much fun as Spy Kids and more fun than Cody Banks. If this were true, it would put it right here on the A tier. But I don't think it's fair to make that kind of comparison. First off, Spy Kids and Cody Banks are spy movies. This is a heist movie. Second, even on its own promotional material, it knows it's not better than Spy Kids. Spy Kids is untouchable. Still, I remember this being an enjoyable movie, so I'd put it somewhere in the middle here. Clockstoppers, about the same as Catch That Kid. Good, not great. I have nothing else to say about this movie. Next, Spy Kids 2, The Island of Lost Dreams, and Spy Kids 3D Game Over. Me and my brother recently made the mistake of rewatching Spy Kids 3 and thus effectively shattering the version that we had in our heads. But when I was little, I thought these two were better than the original Spy Kids. Now, I've since to rewatch Spy Kids 2, so my memory is still untainted, and thus the film still sits supreme. Upon my rewatching of Spy Kids 3, I'd be inclined to put it just above Shark Boy and Lavagirl, except for the fact that this film contained one of the most inspiring scenes in movie history. After the grandpa releases the toy maker, the giant 3D robots are wreaking havoc on the city. Junie calls in everyone in his family to help. It's an epic scene where one at a time each member of the Cortez family flies in on rocket boots, but they still can't beat the robots. Then he remembers Gertie Googles telling him that everyone is your family, so Junie calls in every character from the entire Spy Kids trilogy to come and help. It's truly legendary, and I believe it's the inspiration behind the final battle scene in Avengers Endgame. Suffice to say, I'd put Spy Kids 3D over in B tier. Now, speaking of shattering your childhood recollection of a movie, Aliens in the Attic is a movie that I knew was bad when I watched it as a kid. There is nothing redeemable about this movie. Next, Sky High. Now, I have friends the same age as me who love this movie dearly, but frankly, I never thought it was all that great. Similar to High School Musical, it's a movie about high schoolers that you had to be in grade school when it came out to truly love. If I wanted to watch a movie about a family with superpowers, I'd take The Incredibles any day of the week. D tier. Finally, The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius Jet Fusion, not to be confused with the video game of the same name. This daring straight-to-DVD special is a quintessential kids action movie of the 2000s. Now, we've seen movies with young geniuses, and we've seen movies with young spies, but this is the only movie that dares to combine the two, as Boy Genius Jimmy Neutron must become a secret agent to rescue Super Spy Jet Fusion from the evil clutches of Professor Finbar Calamitous. This is A tier for sure. Well, that's my tier list for kids action movies of the 2000s. Thanks for watching. Got a blast.